Grazie, complimenti.
Thank you, congratulations. And now we'd like to call on Manuela Carmena, the mayor of Madrid.
Las mejores prácticas para...
Best practices to combat emergencies in Madrid.
Bueno.
Well, good morning, and many thanks to Pope Francis for this meeting and all his associates and all the people who are with us, who are willing to listen, to reflect, and to try and improve. If I address thanks to all the associates and all the people who are present here, I want in particular to stress my thanks to the two victims who have to do what one of the most difficult things a human being can do, to give us their pain as a gift so that we can learn. And it's something which aroused great feelings inside us, and I think we need to thank them really for having made this great gift to us. Having said that, I would like to begin by introducing myself, because for a number of circumstances my name is actually Manuela Carmena. I am the mayor of Madrid, but I've only been mayor for 4.5 weeks, because I was elected on the 13th of June, so I won't be able to tell you much with regard to the development of our electoral programs in the municipality of Madrid. So I want to say that perhaps in my statement you will see something which comes from my previous profession. I was a member of the judiciary for a number of years, and then I retired, and I accepted to lead the list of Unidad Popular, which won the elections, and now I'm the mayor of Madrid. But I must say, my years of being a member of the judiciary have a big effect of you, and so I think that you'll be seeing in the solutions that I present the weight of this vision of someone inside the judiciary, attaching importance to complying with laws and regulations. Thanks to my predecessors, there's an awareness of this great emergency which we have with climate change and CO2 emissions, these things which are leading to climate change, which is making something worrying more acute, inequality in the world. And we're seeing in cities, and in Madrid there is inequality between privileged areas and non-privileged areas. There's a very great inequality, and this is one of the things which we want to address in the new local government. I must say that I have found in useful policies to avoid pollution in Madrid. My predecessors restricted traffic, which was something which is essential in order to reduce emissions and pollution. But I also realized that we can, and this is something our team wants to do, and to give an example, I think that a local authority should not just recommend that cars not be used, but that public transportation be used, and it's possible to share vehicles, but also has to be part of the public space. I'm very glad of the fact that not just I, but also all my town councillors use public transport. We take the underground, and so I think it's very important that people see examples in their representatives. If we want to bring about a change of conduct, we should not entrust everything to applying laws and penalties, but there's a very important thing which is to give an example. Being able to walk in cities is something which is very beautiful and a very good thing to do. And I think if you see local authorities walking around, that's a very good example. You may say, right, walking around is okay, but with this heat wave, how can you do this? We're currently having a great heat wave in Europe, and we can also give an example. How many? We could also change the way we dress. How many things? How many degrees of air conditioning could we reduce if we dressed ourselves more reasonably for the summer? And this is something which could also be done. So I'd like to say, as I said, my predecessors have done a lot in the past, facing one of the great scourges of humanity, which is slavery. Madrid, as the capital of Spain, has, of course, signed all the conventions and protocols and strategies and European directives. And obviously, we've changed our criminal code. We've established special legal structures. So we have a very strong legal environment. But I was looking at the figures of the special legal structures. Despite all these measures, in practice, we can't really see much of a result. We can't see many people having been prosecuted or in such a way as to discourage other people from committing these crimes. So there's a couple of ideas I'd like to put to you. First of all, it's necessary that when we speak of human rights and combating trafficking of all kinds, human trafficking of all kinds, for prostitution, sexual exploitation, labor exploitation, use of organs, this is one of the greatest infringements of human rights. How can we ensure that human rights are recognized? All countries sign up to human rights treaties, but and they're on their law books. But are these human rights actually respected? No. When I was in the judiciary, I was often in contact with the United Nations Council for Human Rights inspections coming. When we talked to people, everybody said everything was wonderful, and they referred to their codes, their laws, their regulations. But then, if we went unannounced to police stations and prisons, we saw things that were very different. So what I want to say to you is that the human rights have to be cannot be separated from corruption, because political corruption means that you get two different societies. One is the formal, apparent society, and the other one is the real society. If all our work on human rights were focused on the formal structure, on the apparent structure, and we would be actually doing nothing, because behind it we'd still have the real situation. I'm surprised that in the Council of Human Rights there's no special procedure against corruption. Yes, we do have a 2003 Convention against corruption, but based in the combating crime, it's not linked to human rights protection, and this link has to be established. Secondly, if we want to uproot criminal activity, it is very important to enact laws which point out what is wrong, because the great power of the law is that it generates the value of being able to distinguish between good and evil. Sitting in my court, listening to many human tales of sorrow, it's clear that there is good and there is evil. It has to be very clearly stated what cannot be done, what is unacceptable, what damages human beings. That's why we need conventions, protocols, treaties. All these things are essential. But there's one thing missing, which is that we need to reflect on why crimes are committed. What's the cause for these crimes? And I can tell you that my predecessors from the Council of Madrid have set up a program which involved trying to contact a large number of women who exercise prostitution in Madrid, and it is a program my new team is going to continue and to improve, to reduce the damage to women who are prostitutes. And we've contacted 7,500 of these women. Of these 7,500, probably half of them, 3,000 odd, are women who are victims of trafficking, and we want to see what we can do to help them. In the City Council, we've seen that it's very important for society, the consumers of prostitution, to become aware of what is happening. If you want to see this on the internet, there's some very interesting videos on the Lia Calcio Foundation, and these are things which have been made in schools, and young people discuss why people use prostitutes. And for me, this isn't something which can be simply a supplementary activity. I think that if we truly want to avoid this terrible crime, which leads to trafficking for prostitution or sexual exploitation, we need to really examine why we're a society which hasn't educated people's sexuality, which and there too, again, we have a formal society and a real society. Sexuality is not really discussed, it's not commented on, it's not taught, for a number of reasons which need to be understood. It is something which is basically hidden, and this explains why in surveys which I've recently seen, there are societies where there are more than % of people who use prostitutes, and we
Nos quedamos sin tiempo y por eso han apagado el micrófono.
Ah, muy bien.
Pero no hay más tiempo.
Ah, vale.
¿Vale? Pero si quieres terminar.
Muchas gracias. Simplemente sí quería saludar y decir que no puedo por menos de citar.
There's one final thing I want to say is I think in the encyclical Laudato Si, it's very important that the culture of care has to be promoted, and we need to understand sexuality from the standpoint of the. Thank you.